Faulkner, will you have the roll call, please?
Steve Arden,
Here.
Mike Scipio,
Here.
Doug Fleshman,
Here.
Greg Hudson,
Here.
Greg Wolf,
Here.
Connie Thompson,
Present.
Jim Hughes,
Here.
Linda Bogus.
I'm here.
The quorum being present, I declare the March 16, 2020 meeting of the Dunbar City Council in order. First item on the agenda is approval of the minutes of the previous meeting.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the meetings of the council meeting of March 2nd, 2020 as written.
Second. There's been a motion by Councilman Fleshman to approve the March 2nd, 2020 council meeting minutes as written, seconded by Councilman Wolf. Any further questions, comments, clarifications? Being none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions, none. Motion carries. I'm going to deviate from the agenda just for a second. We've got someone here we would like to introduce you to. This is Joshua Hart. He is our, come on up here. He is our new fireman. He will be officially starting work on the 23rd. He's employed as a, well, I guess, serving as a volunteer fireman in.
That's a combination of work. So it's pay half volunteer.
Where are you right now?
Taze Valley.
Taze Valley. So he's been waiting a long time to hear from us. So we finally got our issues worked out, and we have him here. And I'd just like to introduce you all to him, and he will be officially sworn in at the next council meeting. And hopefully he'll be in this week sometime to meet with Sean and get all these papers filled out, so when he shows up on the 23rd, he's ready to roll. Anything you'd like to say to the crowd?
Nothing off the top of my head. I wasn't prepared to have a speech.
Oh, we always blindside you. If you want, you can come around and greet the council.
Oh, this is nice.
Yeah. I know about the handshake stuff.
It's safe.
Was that they make it? Hey, they make you a big kiss down there, you remember?
But he does come to us with some certifications, which will make it much easier on the training side. So all your buddies are lined up back here. They're ready to induct you into the brotherhood. So anything you want to say, Chief?
Real quickly, I echo what the mayor said. He does come very qualified to us, and that he comes with not only the qualifications but experience. So that's really going to speed our training time of what we need to teach him. It's a super good thing for us. As a chief, I'm very excited, and I'm excited to get started. We are scheduled to get together Wednesday, matter of fact, to get down here and get that stuff taken care of. And look forward to next Monday. We're excited. Thanks.
I'm glad to have you as a sir.
Thanks.
All right, you can get back to work if you need.
All right.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is proclamation on Kids Day to the Park.
That's good, Sean. Josh.
I didn't tag mine. Is there someone want to address that topic?
Kids to Park Day, National Park Trust proclamation proclaiming June 13, 2020 as Kids to Park Day in the city of Dunbar, West Virginia. Whereas June 13, 2020 is the 10th Kids to Park Day organized and launched by the National Park Trust, held annually, and whereas Kids to Park Day empowers kids and encourages families to get outdoors and visit America's parks, public lands, and waters. And whereas we should encourage children to lead a more active lifestyle to combat issues of childhood obesity, diabetes, hypertension, and hypercholesterolemia. You might know how to say that?
Good job.
What Greg said. And whereas Kids to Park Day will be broaden children's appreciation for nature and outdoors, and now therefore, I, Mayor William E. Cunningham, do hereby proclaim June 13, 2020 as Kids to Park Day, signed by the Mayor of the City of Dunbar, West Virginia on this day. William E. Cunningham is Mayor.
Okay. I will execute it and forward it on to the national organization.
Need a motion to
Yes.
accept it? I'll move that we accept the proclamation.
I'll second.
Motion by Councilman Arnott to approve the proclamation declaring June 13, 2020 as Kids Day to the Park in Dunbar, West Virginia, seconded by Councilwoman August. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions, none. For clarification, that's really not National Kids Day to the Park Day. That's in May, but Dunbar historically has observed it on the Free Fish Day in West Virginia, which really makes it more suitable for the kids to come to the Laura Anderson Lake and Fire Department. Helps with the kids baiting poles and cooking s'mores and various activities. So we've kind of deviated and created our own version of Kids Day to the Park, which I think has been very successful in Dunbar. Next item on the agenda is a proclamation declaring March 29, 2020 as Garnet Cosley Day in the city of Dunbar. For those of you all who don't know her, she will be, on March 29th, will be 103 years old. She's been a lifetime, she was born and raised here in Dunbar, and up until recently has had to move to other locations. But she was a Rosie the Riveter, and her son is here. Ed, would you like anything you'd like to add to the history of your mom?
Well, I've only known her for 73 years, but I don't know about her, but she is a very special person, perfect mother. I had a great father. She was a stay-at-home mom. She did everything that mothers did in that generation, you know. She threw meals on the table every day and participated in all our school activities, and she just was a good role model as well as my dad was too. And when I told her what was going to be happening, she was very disappointed that she couldn't be here. And thank you, Mayor, and the City Council, and the citizens of Dunbar, and the Dunbar city workers that she always had me trimming trees, trimming shrubs. I would put 17th Street. You can probably stack that stuff in the corner. She'd call next day. It's the latest. Someone would be there, pick it up, break it up. I'd come out, there's not a leaf, a twig or anything left. She really appreciated that. And she would have been sad if Mr. Sullivan's here tonight. Steve Arnott, one of her Rock Slater boys. There's been a lot of good city councilmen, but for Mom, Mike Scipio is her councilman, is mine. And I think she's called him a couple times, over the years, some minor problems that Mike gave it full attention and gave her the answer that she was looking for, or resolved it, whatever, but I'm sure it wasn't serious. Pastor Hudson, she thinks every man ought to wear a bow tie, anytime, all the time. And Steve and Mike and I graduated together at 60. No. She graduated from Dunbar together. She really thinks the world of Steve. He takes care of her at the Catholic Church on spaghetti dinner day, and she seems to get a larger portion than most folks get.
We try.
And then Linda, August, a dear friend of hers, so she would really be here. And I'm going to tell her everything and all the well wishes that she got from everybody here. But thank you very much for
Come on up here.
proclamation.
Come on up here and I'll read the proclamation. Proclamation proclaiming March 29th, 2020 as Garnet Kozilek Day in the city of Dunbar, West.
Kozilek, right?
Kozilek Day in the city of Dunbar, West Virginia, whereas March 29th, 2020 is the 103rd birthday of Garnet Kozilek. And whereas each birthday provides us a chance to reflect and share the blessings and friendships of our life experience, and whereas the city of Dunbar joins in the celebration of her life with her friends and family, and whereas the citizens of Dunbar extend our wish that the joy of this special day resonates within you and those loved ones that are close to you. And now, therefore, I, Mayor William E. Cunningham, do hereby proclaim March 29th, 2020 as Garnet Kozilek Day, signed by the mayor this 16th day of March 2020. Is there a motion to that effect?
Mr. Mayor, I proclaim that March 29, 2020 be proclaimed as Garnet Kozilek's Day in City of Dunbar, West Virginia. Second.
There's been a motion by Councilwoman August to declare March 29th, 2020 as Garnet Kozilek Day in the city of Dunbar, seconded by Councilwoman Thompson. Any further comments, clarifications? Being none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? No. Abstentions? None. So I have for you the signed proclamation of the city. And from last year, we got one that the governor signed, but she wasn't here for the presentation, so we will give you last year's, but
Thank you very much.
don't let her put her reading glasses on.
Yes. Thank you, Scott, from his office. That is what's spelled her name every time. She noticed it once. I sort of kept the other arm length from her. But she still, she really, really appreciates it. I was telling Steve and Connie that we celebrate her birthday, 85th, 90th, every 5 years. So we had her 100th birthday, a nice party and everything. She really enjoyed it. 2 days later, she said, really enjoyed it. It was great. But 101, 102, 103, no big deal. Now, keeping with 5 years, we'll do something on the 105th. And I said, well, okay. That's good. My sister and I don't have to worry about that at a party next year. But I told my wife a couple of days ago, I said, 103, we better start planning for the 105th birthday party. Well, I think she's gonna be here to do it. So, thank you very much.
All right. Okay, next on the agenda is invoices for payment.
Mr. Chairman, I submit to pay our invoices for this period totaling $263,363.21.
There's been a motion by Councilman Hudson to pay invoices totaling $263,363.21. Seconded by Councilman Scipio. Any comments, clarifications?
Mr. Chairman, just for the audience and those watching this, each of these items were reviewed in the finance to make sure everything was in order.
Anything further? Being none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions, none. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is the 2020-2021 budget.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the budget for 2020-2021 as recommended by the Finance Council. And Finance Council's worked on this along with primarily the mayor and the clerk. We appreciate their strong efforts. And for this year coming in, it would be a proposed budget of $7,338,205. Any questions about it, you can check with any of us later, but that's the total budget, a balanced budget for 2020-2021.
I'll second.
There's been a motion by Councilman Hudson to approve the 2020-2021 budget as recommended by the Finance Committee. It was seconded by Councilman Scipio. Any further comments or clarifications? Being none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions, none. For those that are interested, you can go back to the March 2nd Finance Committee meeting if you want to see the workshop. It's online, on live stream. You'll go back and see how it was put together and reviewed. You can go back and review that on live stream for the last meeting. Next item on the agenda is Dunbar Little League.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we approve a grant to the Dunbar Little League in the amount of $3,000 for field improvements to be paid from the coal severance tax fund.
I'll second it. There's been a motion by Councilman Fleshman to approve a grant to the Dunbar Little League in the amount of $3,000 for field improvements to be paid from the coal severance tax fund. Seconded by Councilman Arnott. Any further questions or comments? Being none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions, none. Motion carries. The next item is invoice from One Beacon Insurance.
Make a motion, we approve the payment to One Beacon Insurance Group, the amount of $5,492.42 for the deductible of 3 lawsuits.
Second.
There's been a motion by Councilman Scipio to approve payment to One Beacon Insurance Group in the amount of $5,492.42 for the deductible on 3 lawsuits. Seconded by Councilman Hudson. Any clarifications, comments?
Mr. Chairman, so everyone understands, each lawsuit has your insurance $25,000 deductible, and these are payments towards that as it's working through the court process.
Anything else anybody wants to add? Being none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions, none. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is the 2014 MDent vehicle.
I'll make a motion, we approve the transfer of title on the 14 Ford Interceptor MDent vehicle back to MDent from the city of Dunbar.
There's been a motion by Councilman Scipio to approve signing the title to the 2014 Ford Interceptor MDent vehicle back over to MDent. Seconded by Councilman Arnott. Any further clarifications, questions, or comments? This was actually purchased with indent money and has really not been a Dunbar vehicle. It's not anything that we use. So we're no longer have an agent or an officer involved in it. So we're returning the title back to indent. Anything else anybody wants to add? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions? None. Motion carries. The next item on the agenda is, I would recommend tabling this for the asbestos removal at 215 West Virginia Avenue.
So
Second.
There's been a motion by Councilman Scipio to table action on the bids received for the asbestos removal of 215 West Virginia Avenue. Seconded by Councilman Hudson. Any clarifications, comments, or?
Mr. Chairman, just so everyone understands, it's because of lack of competitive bids. We're still waiting on, we only got one. It was not in competitive range, and we hope to get more.
Yeah, the bid actually exceeded the state contract amount per square foot for asbestos removal. So we're going to look at other avenues to see if we can get better pricing. Got anything else? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? No. Abstentions? No. We're good to go. All right. Chief Moss.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. I guess what's on everyone's mind is the COVID-19. We've been working on a plan at the station. We've implemented a few changes already. We're also working on a plan that's, there's a positive test in the state. We're going to kind of narrow it down. Surrounding county, narrow it down a little bit more in the county, and then anything dramatic will bring the council over there. But I think what we're really do now is reiterate that 6 feet. The officers, actually 21 feet, maybe we change that for officer safety. We're going to try to start doing that, a better job with that. We're going to have citizens come out of your house and talk to us out on the street, if applicable, if the weather's not bad or the situation safer for the officers outside of the areas of meeting, things like that. They're working on a scrub down in the station, door handles, laptops, things of that nature. With that aside, our hiring on April 4th, I hope it will still go off. We're looking at that. We don't know what that's going to look like at this time, but if we got to do one person at a time through, that will be our plan as long as the federal government, state, and the city allows us to do that. Again, those applications have to be in by March 26th. If you watched TV last night, yesterday, Cheryl Atkinson, she does a story on full measure. She did a story on police hiring and recruitment, where it's down 75% now in the country. El Paso last test, we had 1,400 applicants. This last time they had 100. That's 75%. There was also on Channel 12 last night, if you want to watch that. Had different reasons why things were down, but interesting story. So with that, I'll take any questions when I ask. Thanks, sir.
All right, Chief Thornhill.
Mayor, good evening, everyone. Just to follow up where Chief Moss left off, so many phone calls, things I've been through over the weekend dealing with this coronavirus at the county and state level, and with the health department recommendations and so forth. I've been putting a lot of that out on the fire department's Facebook page, and the problem is a lot of our population may not be on that. So today we reached out to the large facilities, nursing homes, everything within the city that contains the bulk of the people in one building. Reached out to them and provided some of our recommendations, figured out what they're doing, what they're not doing. in trying to cover as many people as we could with finding out what's going on, what their planning is, and do they have the information that we have. All those contacts were made, and some of those are doing really well. Some of them need a little bit of input from us, and we're working on that with them. Internally in the department, as I've stated on there, the fire department has a job to do. We're going to continue to do that job. We are changing how we do that job as far as little things of sending the full four-person crew in on a medical emergency. We're changing some of that to a two-person crew, and we're limiting some exposure. We're also adjusting on what type of calls are being ran, and that's being done more at a county level, as with us too. The internal workings of the department, I have implemented above and beyond sanitizing, disinfecting on a 12-hour rotation within the department. That includes equipment, the station itself. Equipment mainly, and what we wear in the apparatus, so we don't get into a cross-contamination issue between calls. So there's a lot been going on where I'm crazy with all of it. There's a lot going on with the department, but I want everybody to understand we're not going to stop doing our job. We're going to be there if you need us. You call, we're going to be there. And we're taking steps within to make sure we're not contaminating and getting us more sick than we're already going to get. And so we're not taking that out. There's a wealth of information at the fire station. If anybody has any questions about this, what they should do and so forth, we're recommending you call the health department. If you can't get hold of them, you can call the fire department. We have a lot of, if not all, the same information here. Looking at things, we are also planning for worst case scenarios, and a lot of that's in our operations plan, but not necessarily written for this type of pandemic, but we can apply the same principles. So if anything comes up on the fire department side and we start seeing an issue, I'll be getting hold of the mayor and letting him know immediately, and he'll be able to press the rest of that out to the rest of the council. And I echo exactly what he put out here. That is super, super good stuff. Just keep away from everybody. If somebody's sick, don't be going around hugging on them. Common sense things. Treat it like a bad case of the flu. Just, distancing. So I've talked enough. I apologize. We're doing the best we can and trying to prepare in advance. So I'll take anyone's questions. Thanks.
Mr. Elliott.
Mayor, citizens, real quickly, blacktop plant opened up. As soon as the weather clears up, we're going to start working on some roads and alleys. The leaf truck is done, and the limb truck is still is out picking up every day. We are going through the same mess that everybody else is, trying to make sure everybody stays away from everybody that's sick. Other than that, I'll take anybody's questions if they have any.
Okay, Mr. Dawson, Secretary Board.
As we get time, we're working on 16th Street to try to take care of those manholes. We've been very busy with all the rain we've been having. One thing we do ask is please don't flush the flushable wipes. Those in the way. They are a maintenance nightmare for us. Any questions if anybody has any?
Mr. Leishman.
Non-flushable
Still working on abandoned housing. I'm gonna adjust my protocol a little bit when we're going in these places where the drug addicts are hanging out, because they're probably more apt to be carriers of a multitude of things than I want to get with. The pool is still moving forward slowly. They've been pulled off on some other minor things. The steel's been ordered. We're waiting on it to arrive.
Talking about the shelter at the pool?
Yes.
And you said the pool, but I just,
Your
shelter pool.
Yeah. Downstairs, they're gonna start on the 25th. We had a little conflict with, when you do asbestos abatement in West Virginia, you have to give a 10-day notice to the asbestos guys up at the state, and they got a little confused on the date, so we got pushed behind it several days. So they're scheduled to start the 25th, maybe the 23rd, probably. Depending on what we- Other than that, got nothing going on. Just other regular old stuff. Nothing special, put it that way. I'll take any questions from anybody.
You, up on Rockville Lane Road, the first house up on the bank, up on the hill,
On the left side going out,
yeah, a lot of steps going up to it. They seem to be bicycles and backpacks there occasionally.
there is somebody that lives in that house.
I just wondered if there was
You know,
some.
there was last time I checked on it, but that way.
I was there Thursday, there's somebody there.
Still somebody living there?
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah, I'd noticed a bicycle there the other day, but I hadn't seen it before.
Okay, thank you.
Somebody else? You're welcome.
Mr. Jones?
Thank you, Mayor Council. Just update, we will not be having our Easter egg hunt this year on April 11th, so we will postpone it to another day and just call it an egg hunt. It won't be Easter. You know, there's people put some lot of time in those eggs.
2 days.
Other than that, you know, we got Reynolds coming in, just trying to keep everybody down there with the gloves on, spraying the basketball down when the kids come in. We ain't had many kids, today. Also update, the flooring has been put down in the new, caretaker's house up at City Park. It looks really good. Other than that, I have nothing else.
How's the flea market? So,
Great,
It looked good.
great.
Okay. Before we get on with, council comments and so forth, I'll give you an update on what's going on. The, Kanawha Charleston Health Department has instituted a, call-in for all the mayors in the Kanawha Valley. We had our first call-in this morning at 10 o'clock, and, the things that we discussed, and I'll give you a rundown on what they were. There's been 41 people tested for coronavirus, 38 tested negative, and 3 tests are pending results. And I get messages pushed to me all the time, and there's not been any change in that. That's here in the Charleston area. For those of you that are interested, if you want to get any information updated, directly from the health department, you can call 304-348-1088. That's a hotline to the health department that's dealing just with coronavirus issues. So they're manning that all the time. Currently, there's no recommendation for closing of restaurants and bars or other establishments. Maintain 6 feet of social distance. Cover your mouth when coughing. And we're all laughing at one another now. We teach our kids to cough into their elbow, and then they're saying do elbow bump. Well, that's the most contaminated part of your body if you're coughing into it. No different than your hand if everybody's bumping elbows. Then you're coughing into your elbow. So I don't know where that one's going. Wash your hands often. If you choose to wear rubber gloves when you're out and about in a social activity, they're saying that you need to change those gloves about every 2 hours. And when you take the gloves off, you need to wash your hands before you put on a fresh pair of gloves, because if those gloves are contaminated, you need to wash the contaminations where you take them off before you put another pair on. Limit the social gatherings to 50 people or less. National CDC said something about 10 people or less in hot zones, but the Kanawha Charleston Health Department and the state has not changed that protocol right now. So that's not to say that tomorrow morning it may be different. So it'll be, we'll be reacting as this thing develops and moves on. And these recommendations are made for the next 8 weeks unless notice is given to change. So we're going to see some changes in activities and programs and stuff going on. And what everybody really needs to do is be mindful that if you don't feel good, don't go out and be around other people. Stay home until you know what's going on. The people at the health department are not going to be running tests unless you show symptoms. Now, if you think you've been in contact with somebody that has coronavirus, you're to wait until you become symptomatic before you come in and test. I mean, this is to try to limit the testing to people that are actually symptomatic. And as this thing progresses, the testing may expand out. So, that is their recommendations at this particular time. This is some of the information that they pushed out from CDC this morning. I gave a copy to the fire department. It's EMS infectious disease playbook, and it's really centered around pandemic type of situations. So that's there. And on the backside is one that they sent out for protocol for police, which we've given to the police department. The police chief's been in contact with several other departments, and they're putting together a pretty strong action plan to try to deal with some of the issues that are coming up. So we're going to be going from day to day, on what we're doing, monitoring what's happening. But I think one of the most important things we need to do is to be calm and be rational, and just, if you feel sick or you feel ill, stay home. There's really no point for you to go out and either catch something or spread something to someone else. Anybody else want to add their 2 cents?
Bill, do you know when you'll get the results of those 3?
They'll push it out to me as soon as they get it. It'll come up on an email, to me as the testing progresses. So no, I don't have a clue. I'm not sure what the circumstances were for the tests and where they were taken or anything of that nature. It's just that there's 3 tests that are pending of the 41 tests that have been given to people that showed symptoms of some flu-like symptoms. 38 of them came back negative, and 3, they haven't gotten the results back. They're not being tested here locally. They're being sent out to labs. I think CAMC may be capable here in the near future of doing some of the testing here locally. LabCorp is, I think, doing some, but they send them to a lab, I think, over in Ohio. So you're going to be probably, I think they say, 4 days in some, and there's the machine is being produced by some company that can get results within 4 hours, and they're trying to get those machines out and available to heavily populated areas where there's a higher chance of it being spread more rapidly.
According to this update right here, 0 positive cases, 80 tested negative, no deaths, and 4 pending cases right now. That's right. As of this minute in West Virginia.
Thank you.
So that, the information is being pushed out on a regular basis. There's websites out there that you can go to, and if you want to track it and sit there and watch it all the time, you can. It's out there for you. So
True reality.
any questions from anybody out there? Business is going to be as normal for the time being. We are trying to maintain separation. The people that are in contact with people are wearing gloves. We went and bought a bunch of sanitary wipes and sprays and so forth to keep the workstations where they come in contact with people clean. And so I think from that standpoint, we're doing all we can do until, we find that we need to step it up or restrict, access to City Hall, something of that nature. Court is kind of flexible at this time. The judge we're still waiting for the judge to determine whether we're going to have the court the next court night or just push those back to another date. That's not a big issue. I mean, it just kind of, I'm sure the people that are scheduled to come to court won't mind having their dates pushed back a little bit. So we're just working with it as it pops up and trying not to overreact and make more hardship on people than we need to at this time. Okay. Steve, you can go first. Yes, sir.
I just want, Dunbar Medical has a tent set up on a parking lot. I don't know if you want to see that today. Stop there and talk to them. All it is pre-intake. If patients are coming to Dunbar Medical with symptoms, whatever, they're treating them outside. Anyone else going inside, they're just kind of screening them if they're for a regular visit. They won't be in that tent. So if you see a tent, the scrubs, the mask and all that, that's all they're doing. That's their precautionary steps.
Well, they were also having people, once they went into that tent, wait in their car, and then they would go out to their car and get them and take them into the doctor. So you don't have a whole bunch of symptomatic people sitting around with people that don't have those types of issues. So, I mean, really kind of a very, very smart action. You want to raise your hand?
I never want to raise my hand.
Huh?
I never want to raise my hand. I do have two things. Little League has been postponed until May 11th. At this time, they are doing online registration.
That's nationwide too.
Yes. So there will be no Little League practice or meetings or anything until after May the 11th, but still online registration. Meet the candidates, we've had to change, postpone. Well, we've had to change it up because there are only 3 sections that will have to win votes to be able to go to the general. The Republican Party of the mayors, the Republican Party of Ward 1, or Republican Party of Ward 2. So we are only going to do meet the candidate, live stream only. No, only the candidates are to be there in the building. We're trying to save down on actually having people come in and possibly be sick or spread anything. So it'll be candidates only. It will be live streamed. There will be a phone number that will be posted that people can live text in questions, and we'll try to get the questions answered for each candidate. So Ward 1, Ward 2, and Mayor of the Republican Party only will be attending. And then after the primary, we'll have a general with all candidates.
So March 26th.
March 26th at 6:30.
Jim or AB?
Huh?
Jim or AB room?
AB, because there's only about 9 people.
I can't fit all that on the sign.
That is why I'll send you an email, you figure out how
I
you
need you
want
to
to do it.
email me all that, please.
I will.
Okay, anything else from citizens? Steve, we'll let you go first.
Mayor, the other thing I want to share on a sad note, some of you knew Dave Eastwood, who worked for several years down the street department, and he had leukemia and he passed away last night. So I'm sure his wife and family, he was my brother-in-law, and I'm sure that everybody in the family would appreciate your prayers if you're afraid and tight. That's all I need to share.
You gotta say something. You're not good.
I'm just really concerned about the big issue that's going on in our world, in our country right now, in our state, city. I just pray that it does not hit our state, but for God's sakes, do everything that they recommend you do to try to alleviate you being infected with this. And by all means, don't run out of toilet paper.
Just an announcement dealing with COVID-19, the Lenten lunches, for Lenton's lunch and service that we do in the community through Dunbar Ministerial. If you've ever been to one, they're very good event, but they run about 80 to 90 in attendance, which puts you over that little mark. And 95% of the population at that event is, yeah, I'm trying to be seasoned citizens, and some of them are very seasoned. And so with that in mind, Ministerial Association for the next 2 Wednesdays has canceled those. Yeah, that was decided Saturday. Lady and I had a conversation, and he was checking with that'll be reviewed because so many things are happening since then. But just as immediate, those next 2 have been canceled. Don't know about the last. I think there's 2 more after that. But those will be reviewed. But at least for this Wednesday and the next Wednesday, that's been canceled due to it fits the perfect criteria of what they've been warning us about. As Council Fleischman mentioned, and I say this not to cause any legal problems when I say we need to pray. I'm not saying the city is mandating one religion over the other, but just I think we all have enough common sense right now with the situation to know what I'm saying. We need to be praying for our nation and pray that, as I've shared with our church, you cannot eliminate risk. And we're in a society right now that is determined to eliminate all risk without thinking things through. You cannot eliminate all risk. You can simply manage risk. And we have to be careful. We're on a fine line where we want to have common sense, but we don't want to go so far in another direction that we open up another massive amount of problems that will lead to far more death than we're talking about already. Because if the whole nation would collapse, that trickles out through the rest of the world. That's a very serious situation. And so just pray that somewhere we get some calm in this nation, we get some wisdom, and some unified message, because we talked about in finance, every governor is giving a different statement. President, vice president, sometimes are giving different statements. So there's a lot of confusion. So we just need to pray that somewhere there becomes a unified, understandable thing so that we have calm instead of chasing the panic, and balance this thing out and pray that we all survive okay. So I know it's not proper to talk about managing risk because we all think we can solve it all, but it's not possible to solve it all. So we just hope that we manage it properly without getting things out of control.
Sure. I have nothing to say.
Since we're all sitting close to the 6 foot together, I had nothing.
Okay. It has been busy, I'm sure, at all grocery stores. Just be patient, be kind, and they're all doing the best that they can do. When you do the amount of volume that you do, especially like on this past Friday, it can wear you out. So be kind to the person that is ringing your reporter up. Be kind to the person that's trying to put stuff on the shelf. They are doing the best they can do. So just remember that and pray for them.
Just like to thank everybody for coming out, all of our department heads for the great job doing, especially you and Scott. I've run into some really big messes in the last week or so, and their help, we've got them cleaned up. But, if you see something in your alleys, Sharon, dealing with something we gave the other day, but give us a call. You will get it taken care of. But I just wanted to thank department heads for the great job they do.
I disagree with everybody here tonight. I thank y'all for coming.
Wash your hands and say your prayers. Germs and Jesus are everywhere. So follow that rule. And there's two, they're saying don't touch your face, even if you've got gloves on. And it's almost like an automatic reaction, but it's passed through fluids. So don't touch. That's it. Okay?
I also forgot, Aldi's is adjusting their operating hours. They'll now be open from 9 to 7 instead of 9 to 9. And so they close down at 7 to 11, and then they'll continue that until further notice.
With the way everybody's buying everything, they take the extra time to stock the shelves.
We have to stock the shelves. We have extra cleaning that we have to do, 9, 1, 5, 7. We have a 2-page list that we have to do after close every single time. It's not just stocking the shelves and we're waiting on the customers. They've probably added at least 4 hours worth of extra cleaning on every single shift. And we religiously do it every time, every day, every hour. Because we want to protect you all as much as we want to be protecting ourselves. Because if you realize how many people we come in contact with and the money that they hand us, and then they've got that money from somebody else, and they've got that money from somebody else. And don't get me wrong, I'm a cash girl. I don't have a debit card, but.
You'll get one though, aren't you?
No. Probably not, but, you know, it's a lot of germs that go from one person to another to another.
Anything else from anybody?
Mr. Mayor, for the good of the order, if there is no other city business, I move that we adjourn this meeting.
Second.
Everybody